the States. All right, people, a lot of people know them. I mean, we can't continue to run the country this way.
Okay. Joining us from Abuja studio for more insights on this sad development is the Director of Public Relations and Information of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Edward Gabkwet. Thank you for joining us, Commodore.
Thank you very much for having
Commodore,
me.
can you tell us what happened to that helicopter?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to appreciate TVC or specifically Journalist Hangout for all the wonderful jobs you guys are doing, keeping our people informed about what is going on around us. As you are aware, the Nigerian Air Forces have continued to work together, enhance their cooperation and synergy. And it is in that process that they need to evacuate some wounded soldiers and some soldiers that were killed while in an operation came to the fore. So the Nigerian Air Force was requested to deploy an aircraft for that evacuation operation in Niger State, specifically to pick up these victims from Zungeru Primary School. So the aircraft, the MI-171, left Katsina, came down to Kaduna, refueled, and then, of course, moved on to its destination in Niger State. Did the pickup of about 12 dead bodies of our troops and then 7 injured personnel. And, of course, with a crew of 4 of our airmen, 2 pilots and 2 engineers, and was heading to Kaduna. It left Niger State, Zungeru Primary School around 10:30 and was expected to arrive Kaduna at around 11:30. But 11:30 hit, we didn't hear anything from the aircraft, and of course when it got to 12:30, the alarms started ringing, and that was why the Chief of Air Staff immediately directed that dispatch team should go and search the particular route that this aircraft took. And it was in that process that it was observed, noticed that the aircraft actually crashed en route Kaduna, still within Niger State, somewhere just about 1 kilometer to a village called Chukuba. So immediately, a team was dispatched to go and locate the site and see whether we have some survivors. As I speak with you, the team is just almost arriving at that particular site because it's a very difficult terrain. But they have made a very, very wonderful efforts. They are almost at the site, and I think we should be able to start getting some information as to what is really going on. So basically, that was just happening. It was just a routine evacuation exercise, which we normally carry out working with our army counterparts and even the Navy and other security agencies. But sadly, this didn't turn out the way we had expected, which is one of those things that you continue to get when you're involved in this kind of operation. Once you're facing this kind of enemies, the likelihood of some of these accidents occurring are just going to be there. We can't run away from that. You hit them 10 times, they attempt to hit you several times, they get you once or twice. That's the way it goes. And this is a pointer to the fact that we must all rally around ourselves and speak with one voice and support the armed forces rather than continue to, help these terrorists spread their acts on social media and all of that. So I think the president has shown the way, as a matter of fact, yesterday. And I think it's something that all well-meaning Nigerians should take a cue from so that we can move forward and, put hands together and decimate these criminals, rid them out of our society.
Could we have done something to stop the attack on the aircraft? I mean, for example, when you are going on this kind of mission to evacuate wounded soldiers or do interdiction, is it, do you sometimes consider accompanying that air ambulance with maybe a fighter jet to give it some air cover? Is this something that the Air Force sometimes do, given that this aircraft was not fitted with guns and all that?
Yes, of course, you're talking about maybe armed escorts and all of that, but you consider that kind of a scenario based on the environment you're operating upon, and of course, you have to look at so many other indices. For instance, you're talking about an aircraft that was probably flying at about 5,000 feet, because from the point of pickup of these colleagues of ours that lost their lives and they injured, to the point of that accident scene, we're talking about 90 kilometers. So an aircraft taking off from a particular point and traveling for 90 kilometers, you can imagine that it should be flying at a height of about 5,000 feet. So when you now factor in all of these things, then you have to also consider what kind of weapons, can have a very massive effect on that particular aircraft. So, and what kind of weapons would the enemy be having? And let's be very, very honest. As at today, as at now, we cannot confirm that that aircraft was shot down by anybody. I make bold to say that. There is nothing pointing out to the fact that this aircraft was shot down by anybody. All of these are just propagandas. And I trust the kind of criminals we have. If they have that capability or they did that particular operation, I'm sure a video showing them aiming at that aircraft and the aircraft coming down. But what are we seeing? We're only seeing pictures of somebody walking around what looked like an aircraft and dead bodies around. That is just all. We cannot confirm and say that, yes, indeed, this is a Nigerian Air Force aircraft that was shot, or if this is, in fact, an aircraft that was brought down by the terrorists. We don't want to speculate and begin to say it was caused by this and that. And that is why an investigation is currently on the way to make sure that we unravel what actually happened. And until then, we will not be pushed, we will not be stampeded into accepting that, yes, indeed, this is what happened. So I would like to appeal to people, to Nigerians, to be patient until we get to the bottom of this situation. We're not going to either deny or accept that this is a particular reason why this aircraft came down.
Let's talk about the efforts being made by the Air Force and in that general area and in the northwest, especially Kaduna and Katsina. What efforts are being made at this time? Because we are seeing a resurgence of banditry in the frontline local governments of Katsina and Zamfara. What efforts are being made at this time to ensure that the gains that we made in the recent past are not eroded by these recent attacks?
Well, to be honest with you, until this incident happened, you all agree with me that we've had a semblance of peace in most of these states, from Katsina to Zamfara and even Niger State itself. So this is just an unfortunate incident that it's just a slight drawback, but then it's going to get us to be more determined to make sure that we follow these criminals and make sure we rid them out. A lot of efforts remains ongoing with all the security agencies. Everybody is working day and night. And we are happy that the locals are beginning to realize that they have to be a key source of our intelligence. And we're happy that they are doing that. And the state governments too are also working with us to make sure that we completely, I'm sure you may recall that a news was being circulated about 2 or 3 weeks ago that some of these bandits were heard discussing the need for them to approach the government for a reconciliation or for a settlement. This we have confirmed to be facts. And why are they doing that? It's because the firepower of the Nigerian Air Force and other security agencies is getting to them, and they are believing that if it continues, of course, it's going to be a matter of days or weeks before they are completely eliminated on the face of the earth. So a lot is ongoing, and with the platforms we have received and more that we're expecting, I think Nigerians should just sit back and watch and see what will happen in the next weeks or days to come. Because
ask a question related to what you just said. It seems that any time these guys are facing so much heat, they start talking about amnesty, they start begging and all that. Are you disposed to amnesty for these fellows?
Well, that is not our responsibility. It is purely for the government and the politicians to deal with that. Our own is purely kinetic. And we have continued to say this. The Chief of Defense Staff has said this. The Chief of Air Staff said it yesterday when the Governor of Niger State came calling, that kinetic operations can take care of only 20 to 30% of this problem we're having. The entire security issues we're having can be solved by just 30% of force. The rest is for the politicians, for the governors, the senators, and all of these people to sit down and resolve these other issues. But that is not our business. Our own is that the need for kinetic operations to be sustained and enhanced is what will lead these people to the negotiating table. So we will allow them to continue to deal with that aspect, but our operations are going to continue unabated, and I tell you, what has happened is going to be a ginger. It's going to be a motivation for us to make sure that we go after these people full force this time. Nobody's going to take any excuse for anything. And like I keep on saying, anytime I have an opportunity like this, Nigerians should please desist from propagating some of these things they see on social media. Because when you do that, you are only fueling the activities of these terrorists. And that is what they want. Begin to post all of these videos, post it here and there. That's just what they are looking for. We should stop being used as conduits for propagating some of the activities of these criminals. Instead, the energy you are using to propagate these things, you should channel it in supporting the members of the armed forces and other security agencies, bring information to us, help us gather intelligence so that we use what we have to go after these people. There is no way that terrorists will be passing behind your houses or your farms and all of that and you won't be aware. Let us know what is going on. And I assure you and I assure Nigerians that once we get any information, you can be rest assured that your identity will be concealed and you'll be protected.
One last one before I allow you to go, Air Commander. We know that these people, they don't have firepower, air power right now. And do you have any evidence of them having any anti-aircraft launchers?
Well, there was a time we got intelligence that some of them were trying to import some of these weapons through the Lake Chad, through Niger Republic and all of that. But to be honest, there is no confirmation as to what type of weapons they really have, apart from what we see them wield here and there. But if they have the capacity and capability for having some of these weapons, I think we would have been seeing our aircrafts just dropping from the skies at will. You know, that's why we question some of these videos that people send. We have to look at some of these videos carefully, very carefully, critically, you know, and find out, is it possible for some of these so-called things to happen? Can an aircraft be brought down with an AK-47 like they said? And all of that. Anyway, we should just not go there because, like I said, we are looking at all of these things and to make sure that we unravel what happened. Let me also state here that the need for us to unravel what actually happened is very, very important to the Nigerian Air Force. because we must find out and take lessons from this incident, because it is these lessons now that will enable us to make sure that we take all the necessary precautions and see how we can move forward and make sure that these criminals that mean nothing for all Nigerians, they have no good intentions for anybody in this country. All they just want to do is just to kill people, innocent people, rape our women, turn our children into slaves. We must find a way to rid them out of our society.
I want to thank you, Air Commodore Edward Gabkwet, the Director of Public Relations and Information for the Nigerian Air Force. Thank you. Thank you for your intervention today.
I wish you Godspeed.
Yeah.
As we investigate. Allow me to.
We just have to stand by what he has said.